And how are we getting on?
Hi, how are you guys doing?
Just fine and dandy that you're here.
Yeah,
So today we're joined by Katie O'Hagan. Got that right, did I?
you did.
Spot
It's the
on.
Irish. You better get that right.
Yeah, it's one of those things. Like if I mess that up, give up. But how about you introduce yourself?
Yeah, Katie O'Hagan, aka the voice of Mia Winters from Resident Evil 7 Biohazard and Resident Evil Village. So, originally from Chicago, now living in LA, but my second home is Ireland. So, I'm super excited to do this with you guys. You're my first Irish podcast.
Well, there's a first for everything, and I never thought this would be it. But all right. So Resident Evil, seriously, blow up game. Like it just, I don't know. They keep game after game. They've kind of been hitting it well, and even the remakes, which and normally remakes don't do as well. But
I know.
when you first got into Resident Evil 7, um, I mean, like, how did that process go? Like, I suppose in most games you don't even know what it is yet.
Yeah, I so Resident Evil 7, I saw a casting call online. So when you're an actor, there's a lot of casting websites. You have agents that get you things, but you can do a lot on your own. So I was on all these different casting websites, and back in 2014, I saw a casting call, basically looking for a female in like my height and my kind of general look, but they wanted it for like crazy and possessed. It was for a video game. And I never did anything like that before, but I love playing zombies. I love doing really monstrous things. So I was like, oh, I want to just submit and see if they'll call me in for an audition. And so I got the audition. I went to the actual sound stage and did the full audition. I mean, they had me crawling on the ground, they had me growling, they had me doing all this crazy stuff. And then after that, like they told me the character would have split personalities. And they said they were probably going to cast another actor as, they were looking at doing two different actors, basically, one possessed, one regular. And then about a day or two later, I got a call saying, okay, they want you to come in for a callback to be the normal version to see if you can do it. Can you be normal? So I was like, okay, let's see what happens. And so I went in. I did normal, and then they also wanted to see me go from normal to crazy within the same take. And then about 2 days later from there, I got the call that they wanted to offer me the role. And I knew the character's name, like from the get go. Like I knew it was Mia, but I didn't know it was Capcom. I didn't know it was Resident Evil. And I didn't know that they were casting a female character.
Just happened. I'll pause and get back to it. Three. So there we go. Back. Had a bit of an internet problem, but we're back now. We were just talking about how Katie didn't know it was Capcom.
Yes, I didn't know it was Capcom. Didn't know it was Resident Evil. Didn't know any of it. Yeah, so basically thought it was a small Japanese company that was making like a fun video game. Did the what was it called? The kitchen demo, which was done at E3, which ultimately was kind of like a little cursor because it is Mia in that. And then it was about a year into working on the game that at a table read, all the actors came together and somebody let it slip about Umbrella. And that's when we recognized that name. Like, wait, this is bigger than we all thought. So almost immediately, that was when I signed an NDA. Before that, like there really was an NDA, but the moment that Umbrella slipped and everyone realized we've been working on a Resident Evil game, because again, none of the characters were from past games. And at that table read, it was, it was early on, and Chris Redfield doesn't show up to the very, very end of seven. So even that name we hadn't heard. So it was all a shock. NDAs came out, we signed them, and it was like, all right, so I'm doing something a lot bigger than I thought I was doing, and I was almost glad I didn't know because I wasn't as like freaked out.
Fair enough. Yeah, I can imagine that was kind of crazy. Thinking maybe some kind of small Japanese indie game, and oh my
Oh,
god, it's Resident Evil.
yeah. Like I didn't even know if it would be a game. Like I thought maybe like an online thing. I had no grasp of how big. And then after shooting a while, I realized like, oh, this is going to be like a real game. But I still didn't realize Resident Evil real. Like it was
Mm.
that big.
Yeah.
So that was exciting, but then it was also like, I told people I was working on a game, and then after those NDAs and stuff, it was like lips were sealed and like couldn't even tell my family. Like the only person who was able to know was my husband because he would run lines with me at home before I would go to shoot and stuff. So he would help me with my lines. So he had, he knew what it was going to be, but he was sworn to secrecy.
I can imagine. That's one thing I admire about actors. Like, you can keep a secret like that so easy. I like if
It's
I,
not easy. It's not.
but no, I mean like Thomas, I can hear a bit of a touchy touch on your mic there. Um, but yeah, like you never hear like actors leaking anything, but that's always the big worry.
Yeah.
But then like if you put me in there, I'd have to. Honestly, I wouldn't be able to contain myself. Like,
It's
oh, you're
really
Resident
hard.
Evil. I'd be telling the walls.
Yeah.
I'd be going for a walk and be talking to trees. I'm in Resident Evil.
Well,
You
no,
know?
that you can do as long as it's not another human being.
Yeah. So just telling the dog. Can you believe it?
You're safer telling the walls
the
and trees
dog.
and dog.
Yeah.
People will think you're insane, but you're much safer doing that than telling
Yeah.
another person.
What was
And that's
that
the
thing
hardest
for?
thing. You get so excited and you want to post pictures and you want to tell people like, this is what I've been working on. And you can't until they let you know it's okay. And that's usually after it's released. So you can't even get like a buildup for people to be like, oh, like it's coming soon. It's just silence and then explosion.
Yeah. Ah, it's just crazy. 'Cause I remember.
It was even harder though with 8 because 8 they released trailers back in the beginning of the year and Mia is in the trailers. And like it's a very prominent part. It's very obvious. So everybody was my social media started blowing up, people going, "Oh my god, you're back? Is it you?" Da, da, da. So I reached out to where I'm supposed to going, "Hey, since the trailer came out, can I answer people back and say, yes, it is me?" And they're like, "No, not until the game comes out." So I was like, ah.
I find that just outrageously stupid. Remember, Nicole Tompkins said the same thing to us, and like she said like she was in the trailer as two characters, and
Yeah,
people, asking, "Was that you?"
they recognize the
Couldn't say a
voice.
word. Couldn't say a word.
And like
Yeah.
you just have to not respond, and then you kind of feel like an asshole because you're just
Literally, like someone
not answering people.
like a fan messaging you, like, "Hey, I want to know, is this you in the trailer?"
Yep.
I can neither confirm nor deny.
Pretty
Scene.
much, yeah. Yeah.
Scene.
But even if your friends ask, it's like I cannot confirm or deny. But that gives it away.
Yeah. But I
Yeah.
also usually am like you, I recognize the voice. Like that's all I can say. The voice sounds very familiar. But yeah, people, it was interesting. And now it's like 8 just came out. And I think one of my biggest questions from people now is, so are you going to be in RE9? Are you doing RE9? And I'm like, guys, you'll know probably before I'll know. Like, this is how it works. Like, I have no idea. They let us know once they've decided and created and have already started working on things. Then we get a phone call going, hey, you're still alive. Like that's what happened with me and 8. It was like, hey, you're still alive, so we want you to come back for a little bit. I was like, oh, okay.
I mean, there's no real reason to not have you. I mean, like characters' voices don't change that bad. It's like, how old is the daughter at the end of it?
I believe 13. So
Your voice
would
isn't
only
going to
make
change
me
that
like,
much.
and my character would be a lot closer to my real age.
How old is Mia supposed to be?
I don't know.
They never do anything with the ages of the characters.
They never give you like flat out ages, but my guess would be late 20s, early 30s, I would say.
Fair enough.
It seems plausible if, she was missing for 3 years and they had been married however long before that. So I give it kind of around that.
Fair. And was there ever worry? Was there ever any worry when it came to Resident Evil 8 that you might be replaced? Because initially that was the plan, right? They were supposed to do you for one of our characters and someone else for the other.
No, that was for 7. They had the idea of crazy Mia would be possibly one actor, normal Mia another actor. And then when I auditioned and showed both sides and they liked the two different sides, then I was Mia. There wasn't a thought of, oh, they'll replace me in 8. It just never crossed my mind that Mia would come back. Like with video games, everything changes so much, and you just never know what story arc they're going to go, what characters they want to keep going with. So I was happy I didn't die at the end of 7, but I also never had it in my mind that I would come back. There's always like, I hope it'd be so cool if they wrote me into more things, I would happily do it. But if you hold on to that, it's just leading for disappointment if they decide to take another route. So it's more like you do this job, you love it, you do everything you can with it, and you hope that they want to continue, that you hope they liked working with you and they want to bring you back. So when I got the call for 8, I was thrilled. And when they told me like, oh, they're married, they have a kid now, I was like, oh, it's like an extension. It's like a new version of Mia and Ethan you're going to get. So I was really excited to try
Not bad.
it.
Yeah, I suppose fair enough. I know. I just meant like if they originally had intended for it to be two people, maybe they were thinking we'll change it eventually or something. But no, you stuck on, you clung on.
Yeah, I was
Um,
lucky.
well, no, in fairness, you did a good job.
Thanks.
Um, did you voice the scenes at the start where you're supposed to be like
Reading.
what's that one there? The one Michelle Luke's played. What's her name?
Oh,
Miranda.
Miranda.
Yeah.
Miranda.
Did you voice that bit?
So where it looks like Mia, but it
Yeah, but
ends
it's
up being
supposed to
Miranda.
be. Yeah.
Yeah, that's all me. Because it's the idea, like it's supposed to be Mia. So she's supposed to trick everybody. So anytime visually it was Mia, it was my voice, except for one scene. There was it was when Miranda keeps changing, when Ethan sees her and she keeps like turning into different things. There was a scene where it is me talking, then she changes, and then Mia comes again, but it's Miranda's voice. So that's the only time you see Mia without my voice, is like that one scene. But yeah, that whole beginning was me.
That's pretty cool. And you did mocap for this, right?
Yeah, yeah, mocap and facial capture.
Now, this is something I can probably only ask you. How do
Okay.
you mocap being shot that many times?
it's really hard. You have to throw all embarrassment like out the window before you do it.
Yeah.
There is video. There is a behind the scenes you can see online of me doing it, and I laugh when I watch it. My husband laughs when he watches it. Basically, when we got on set and they told me this is what I was doing, I immediately had to go to like every movie reference I had in my mind of people getting shot. So I was like, okay, Godfather, Peaky Blinders. I was like, what are the shows and movies I watch where there's lots of people getting just shot to bits? Not one shot, but shot to bits. And then they said, okay, this is how many times you're going to get hit. So like I knew I had to like flail as if I was getting hit from multiple angles, multiple times. And then once I was on the ground, they told me, okay, this is how many times once you're on the ground, he's going to shoot. So you have to do a couple movements of that. So it was just kind of flailing is the best way to explain it. Like just flail as if you're just, I mean, needless to say, I've never been shot before. So I can't say from experience, but from all the stuff I've watched, I was like, yeah, just flailing and getting hit and falling down and making it, the noises is the weirdest part because you're literally like, like,
Yeah, I figured there was no method acting in that, so sure.
No.
Yeah, that's a rough
I mean,
one.
personally now, I'm very hands-on. So yeah, I would have gotten shot a couple times
Yeah.
for the experience, but
Yeah.
Yeah, you'd have a
whatever
vest on,
you
right?
do, it's
You'd have a
like
vest, like one of the
you.
white
I
ones, the
mean,
cotton ones.
Oh god. And
Yeah.
you also have to remember, it's not Mia. So she's getting shot and she's not reacting like a normal human would get shot because it's Miranda. So like she gets shot up to bits on the ground and one fan was like pointed out. If you watch closely, even though it's in the dark on the ground, you see her still starting to get up when Chris points and shoots again. So you realize, it's not like a real person getting shot because there's no real vision of pain. Like the first time she gets shot, it's kind of like a
What
what
the
the
fuck?
hell? Like what was that? So a real person, I doubt, is gonna get shot in their arm and just be like, huh, what was that? But she's, super evil villain. So
Yeah, when we
so
had
we do.
Michelle on, she was lovely to chat to. Uh, joking again with the method acting thing, like, oh, what was it like being like a huge villain like this? Was there any method acting involved? Yeah.
you gotta pull from what you know. Crazy Mia. I'm sure my husband has seen that version of me before.
God.
No chainsaws though. We keep power tools away from me.
Yeah, they're kept in the garage for later. You know,
Exactly.
if it ever gets that bad, like they're out there.
There.
Yeah.
Uh,
But yeah,
have
that's
you?
such a weird scene to start not the show, the game off with. Like
Mhm.
you get Ethan to go and find something. He they have a little chat. She's like, "Shut up, bringing this thing up. It's been how many years?" Bang, and then just got drilled by bullets.
It's a shocker.
Resident
Capcom
Evil 8.
loves, I'm like, Capcom loves to do that. They're like, how can we shock? How can we throw people off? How can we throw twists in there? I mean, I was getting people sending me memes of like RIP Mia and Chris at Mia's grave. Like when that trailer came out, everybody thought I was dead. And when I first got the script, I thought I was dead. So I didn't even know that it wasn't real Mia when they sent me that scene. It wasn't until I was on set and we were talking through the scene that I found out, oh, no, you don't die. Like you get to come back again, but we don't know when or how or so. Yeah, I shot that scene and that was an exciting day because I was like, they didn't kill me off right away.
I hate any project that does something like that where they just kill a character off just to be done with it.
Just done. I
I hate
so
that so much.
I was very
The Last of
happy
Us.
that wasn't the case.
The Last of Us, yes, yeah, the
Oh, did
writers
that
there,
happen?
yeah, yeah.
Oof.
No, they did some dodgy stuff.
Don't know what they were doing.
They made you fall in love with a character at the first game, make you
Yeah.
still love them a little bit in the second game, and then they did some rough stuff. So heartbroken
They
there.
love they love to do that to people.
They do.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
in
That's
fairness,
why.
It's Hollywood for you.
it's good. It's good if it's done right. That's why Game of Thrones was so fucking big. No one
Yeah.
except Jon Snow was free of plot armor.
Oh yeah. And the first couple of seasons, that's what was so great was like they killed off anybody. Last season, we're not going to talk about that. But first couple of seasons,
I
loved how they killed people off. Like you just didn't know. No one was safe, literally. And then by like season 4, 5, 6, it was like they'll kill people off, but they're definitely not going to be shockers because they just stopped doing that all of a sudden.
yeah,
So
like
that was
Jamie
kind of
Lannister
a
was sticking
bummer.
around.
I mean, there was so much a Brie, like when they had that whole crazy fight, we're going into another realm, but when they had like the whole big epic fight in season 6,
Which one?
bigger characters should have died.
Battle of the Bastards,
Like
is it?
no. That one was good. Like that one I expected. The one in season 6, like the epic, the whole thing, the Night King fight, like the
Oh,
Oh.
yeah.
yeah. So, you know, Brie apparently, or Brianna Tarth, like she just was able to fight how many? White Walkers, no big deal, no scratch, nothing. She survived. I was like, okay, girl, I love you. You're huge, but you can't fight all of them alone. You're gonna die.
She's a
I'm
queen.
sorry.
Leave her
I'm
alone.
sorry.
She could take on the
I
entire Westeros by herself.
I love her. Love her. But with the way the first couple of seasons went, I was like, okay, I was expecting bigger characters to end up going. But
I've never seen an actress be like such a sweetheart in real life and such a monster on screen. Like she was like she's also like what's that? The Captain Phasma Star Wars
Yep.
movies.
Yep.
Also not a very
So
friendly
perfect. Yep.
one. Like yeah,
But she
perfect
owns
fit.
it, which is so great. And that's,
Yeah.
that's those are the actresses like I've always looked up to because, I was always very typecast. So to be able to break in and get roles that are more demonic, possessive, zombie, evil, villain, like all these things, like these stronger roles is something you kind of have to fight for. So it's cool seeing these actors who are just incredibly wonderful women and then badasses on screen.
Yeah. She's proper scary like but yeah, look, that last season was rough. We watched it. I didn't watch it when it came out. I didn't know anything about Game of Thrones, but maybe a month ago.
Okay.
No, maybe 2 months ago, I started season one and I went into it hard. I'd be working here some days. I'd be, doing whatever work for the podcast, booking guests. I think if it was me who messaged you, I messaged you while watching Game of Thrones, and
Nice.
um, so I'm booking guests, doing whatever for a podcast, and you know, I'm watching Game of Thrones. I'm like up to season 5. I'm like, oh my god, this is gonna be awesome. Season 7, I'm starting to hear. Season 8 was a dodgy one. It was a bad one. And episode 3 of season 8, I'm in. I'm like, okay, that's a bit weird, like. And from there on, it was just like, how many episodes of like character development just thrown in the bin? It's like you gave a
Yes.
5-year-old
Yes.
a lighter and sent him in after the scripts, like like it was
I think
so bad.
yeah, my brain shut off. Like I was saying, the end season 6 because I think that's when my brain shut off. Like the last seasons were just like, what happened? What happened? Everything that was. Yeah, it was just there was so much hope, and I mean, I watched it when it was on, so there was definitely like excitement and hope. And compared to the first few seasons, it was just kind of frustrating. I don't want to talk shit because I still love the like as a whole, but it was a letdown. It was like it was just like, oh, so close, so close.
Yeah, but so far, I encourage everyone who's watching right now to go and check the what's that? The Go not the GoFundMe, the Change.org thing for it.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I signed that with every email account I have. It's almost at 2 million. Please keep going.
Nice. There we go.
Oh,
Reshoot it all.
heartbreaking.
Let's do it.
You know what else I hope I hope they do a better sequel in the future for Star Wars. They need to redo those films because god damn it, man.
There's a lot to be
imagine Finn could have been a fucking Jedi from Stormtrooper to Jedi. That shit would have been awesome, man.
That would have been cool.
And then the whole thing with China and then like blocking out his face. That's just fucked.
Yeah, you see your thing with China with John Boyega.
No.
They made him smaller on the posters because they don't like black people.
Oh, I did hear that.
Yeah.
So messed up. Like if you want to do that, just don't.
Like he's basically the secondary character, like after Ray, and they made him like smaller than like C-3PO. Like, come on.
Oh, it's just sad. Like it's just it's pointless. It's sad. He's talented. He he was a huge part of that film, of that series, and for you just to think, oh, we'll just do this to it. It's like, what?
Heartbreaking stuff. But what isn't heartbreaking was your performance as Mia Winters.
Thanks.
Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Is there anything looking back on it you do that you would do differently?
I don't know. I think I don't think so because I really threw myself into it with 7, with having the dual split personalities. So I really love that. I think the only thing I might have done was on my own time, possibly take more motion capture classes because I went into 7 never doing motion capture, never doing video games. So I was clueless. And I was having to learn everything on set day of when it came to, the technology, my acting and where the cameras were and how everything was, all the sensors were going to be picked up. So, there was a lot. I picked it up pretty quick, but I think looking back, it would have been better of me to then go and do a workshop or a class to learn a little bit more of what motion capture entails. So I could have gone, back, because I worked on it for 2 years on and off. And every time, if you're off for 2-3 months, then you come back in, it's kind of like your brain needs to switch into that mode of like, okay, they just said a term. I know it because I did it before, but trying to remember. And so, yeah, I think that's the biggest thing for me. It's just that aspect of it, just kind of for my own knowledge. And now I'm doing that. So even after 8, like I'm taking like creature classes and motion capture classes and things just to kind of keep me up to date. And so I can do more of this.
Cool. And are you a full-time actor, or do you do other things as well?
I do other things. Full-time acting is very difficult. I would love it. That's the goal ultimately, is to just have acting be my, my job that pays the bills. But it is very hit or miss. Like I might have a year of booking a whole bunch of things, games, commercials, whatever. And then the next year might be nothing or one thing. So for me, it is very back and forth. So I've worked lots of other jobs. I've been a receptionist, I've been a paralegal, I've been a waitress, I've been a manager, I've been a bartender.
The whole shebang.
Yeah,
Wow.
a little bit of everything. And also with acting, it's always good to have, if you have to have a day job or another job, it's nice to get them within the industry. So getting jobs with casting directors where you can be their assistant. And that way, when you get auditions, you can be like, hey, I need to leave for an hour. And because they're in the industry, they know, they get it. So that's always kind of a bonus. Yeah. So all different things. It's kind of like I babysit still once in a while. I just don't let them know it's Mia.
Yeah, I was thinking,
Yeah,
if
that'd
they
be
play
dodgy
video
babysitter.
games, they wouldn't want you fucking babysitting me.
Yeah.
Really keep them in check.
Just kind of reminds me of that knife scene. He puts a knife through his hand and just keeps going. Like that's probably one of the more intense scenes that they did for that.
Yeah, that was pretty epic. And then I saw the Japanese version where you don't actually like chainsaw the hand off and stuff. So I thought that was crazy. I was like, oh, you're missing the best part. I even have Ethan with me. It's like, you're missing the best part.
Hi.
Oh my god. That's so bad. Oh my god. Fair play to you.
That's such a missed opportunity. You should
yeah.
put just start during podcast, like take the hand and like extend like some arm and someone like pulls you out of frame. People like interviewing it would be fucking scared as shit. Yeah, like that,
That's crazy.
Or get the hand to hand you
nice.
stuff like showing us like, oh, gotta make a phone call real quick,
my Ethan Todd, he's approved of my hand. I told him, I was like, people always ask me about Ethan, so I have to give him something, and this is his stand-in, so it works out nicely.
you know what slips my mind? I like, from playing the game, you play it from Ethan's perspective, right? So every time like we think of who we're gonna have on, we take a look at the other big characters.
Yeah.
I haven't a fucking clue who plays Ethan, but I know nearly the rest of the cast of 8. I could name almost the entire cast of 8 and 7 as well, but I haven't a clue who plays Ethan. Who plays Ethan?
So it's the same. His name's Todd Soley. He was in both 7 and 8. He plays Ethan. He is more private. He is he just doesn't do as much. But he does hop online and stuff. So he's been good with just hitting people up on Twitter when people write comments and tag him, which is really nice. But yeah, he just, he's more private, which I'm like, more power to you. I have way too big of a personality to be like, oh, I don't want to do podcasts.
Yeah.
It's one of the things that Aaron said he likes about being in games is that, you're getting paid for doing what you love, but at the same time, not as many people recognize you on the street for. And he says he likes
Exactly.
his privacy, which respect.
It
Yeah.
is. Yeah, it's very nice. Doing this stuff is awesome. I'm looking forward to starting to do conventions, as everything opens up. That's kind of the hope. Um, I would love to come to Ireland for a convention.
If you and the hubby end up actually going to Ireland,
Yeah.
you could nearly do that every single year. The May winters over here, because do you know like how desperate they get with that kind of stuff over here? It'll be like
Really?
background extra of the Mandalorian episode 4, season 1, the kind of stuff. You know?
We need to hit them up, man. I got a I got my Irish passport.
Yeah. Thomas, I'm at the right.
Yeah, here. So fucking, it's kind of sad because there's
Well,
no.
I know.
everyone's working in the States or UK. There's not much work here, so I understand it. And like, I'm not being like throwing shade at people who do it over here. It's just
No, no, of course you're
that
not. You're showing shit to the industry.
in comparison to the other, conventions around the world,
Yeah.
we're lacking.
Terrible.
Well, one of the big things that I've learned, because I've never done conventions, this is all very new to me. The biggest thing I learned, I guess, with a lot of these conventions, it's a lot about the fans telling the conventions what they want, like emailing them saying, hey, we would love to see the Resident Evil Village voice actors come here. And then they reach out to, the personal appearance agent, which for me and most of the Resident Evil actors is all vertical talent. And so you just reach out and then they like work it out. So right now there's a couple of conventions that a few different actors will be going to this year, but I didn't know that's how a lot of it works. Like I'm learning all this stuff, how these things work. So it's really cool. It's another whole new world. I'm sure Ethan's hand will travel with me to all of them.
Yeah, honestly, bring that. It'll be a bit weird in customs, but yeah,
I mean,
I'm sure you can
it
pick up a
does
hand over
wave.
here.
Like it does, but I made this.
Oh, that's
So
so
I'm
weird.
very, very proud of this.
That's so weird how the fingers move. I'm just.
My husband and I were Morticia Gomez Adams years ago for Halloween. And I was like, well, we have to have, thing. So this was attached to his shoulder and this came through his shirt so he could pull it on his shoulder and it would like tap his shoulder and stuff. So
That is genius. That's amazing. Holy fuck.
That's really cool.
Yeah, no, I'd love to see you do one over here because, again, Baron. But you said you haven't done one before. That's really
I
surprising.
haven't. Yeah, this is all very new to me. Well, because Resident Evil, is the first thing I ever did, and 7 definitely didn't have as much hype as 8 has. It was released, and I think because 7 took a new twist, it was all brand new characters. It went back to the horror genre versus the just shoot 'em up type of stuff, the first person. So I think people were kind of didn't know how to feel about 7. There was a lot of like, you either love it or hate it. So yeah, it was just kind of like 7 kind of went and nothing too much happened with that. And then with 8, it was like this explosion. I don't think anybody thought 8 was going to be like this. I mean, it's been a crazy, crazy 2 months, since it's been out. I definitely, I liked it. I thought people would like it, but I had no idea of the reaction that it's been getting. So it's very exciting, really cool, but all very new to me. So
Yeah, I think the biggest mistake when it came to that game was how fast they got rid of Lady D, because from the trailer, people just loved her, and then like you're probably almost rid of her now in an hour and a half.
Yeah, which to me sounds like a long time, but I know
the game's like
the game world
12 hours.
Oh my god!
I mean, I haven't played the game. I've seen playthroughs. I've interviewed the cast, but like seriously, it's gigantic.
Yeah, I actually sat through a speed run of the game, and it took 2.5 hours. He got through the whole game. So
I'm just kind of noting your face when I said 12 hours. You know, most games are 36 to 48 hours to finish.
Nope.
Do you know how long I've played God of War for?
Yeah,
It's
seriously.
embarrassing. No.
Really?
Well, you got to play the story
I'm
once or
just
twice to get the full
yes.
experience. It's
I also am just getting into starting to play these types of games. Like I grew up with Atari and Nintendo.
Mm.
So I'm used to very basic. I now have a PlayStation 4. I attempted RE7 in VR earlier this year. It was
Oh,
awesome.
how
And I am
that's.
going, oh, it was so much fun. So I am going to continue that. And I just got a Twitch set up because I'm going to start streaming me play. But I also warn everyone that I am awful. I am clueless. There will be a lot of swearing because I have an Irish temper. So I get very frustrated.
That's crazy.
So, yeah.
Well,
So,
Aaron LaPlante did the same thing, didn't he? He played it. Was Resident Evil 7 in VR, and
he
he
did.
he freaked the fuck out, and he took the helmet off, and he hasn't
Yep.
touched it since. He put it like in his closet and like locked it. So like I use virtual
I'm
reality as well.
excited. It's
It gets so
fun.
much scarier, doesn't it?
Oh my God. I scared the shit out of myself. I stopped playing. Like Mia crawls up the stairs and then it goes black and then she just appears in your face with the like, and it's so, I threw the remote control and I fell to the ground. And my friends, I could hear them laughing, but I was literally, because she just starts attacking you. And I didn't have the remote control anymore. And I was on the ground going, stop hitting me, stop hitting me. Like I was, it was
Mia,
so
it's me.
bad.
It's you.
Go on,
It was
you
very
know me.
confusing. I know.
I tell you, that's why these little straps are so handy. You know, just kind of strap them on and pray to God you don't drop it.
Yeah, I didn't. I just used my remote that was not like the VR remote. So I will be getting the whole VR system, the
Mm.
package. So I will have all the safety features so I don't break anything.
Honestly,
But what other games are you gonna plan to play on your Twitch? You're gonna do probably both the Resident Evil games and
I say you
Yes,
have to
I'm
the ones
definitely
you're
gonna
in.
do,
Definitely.
yeah, gonna do 7 and 8 for sure. But my plan is to go through all of them from the beginning. So
it's a good
that's
idea.
kind of the first idea. But again, I keep warning people like it's gonna take a long time because I am not very good at this. So
Yeah.
it'll start up. I'm doing just a live signing on my Twitch this Saturday to be able to work with it for the first time and really get a feel for Twitch and my mods and everything. And then I have to do the setup with my PlayStation and VA and the whole camera and fingers crossed for the first playthrough.
I reckon you do fine. You'll be grand.
You're great.
Thank you.
You're gonna do fine. Don't worry about it.
You got this.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I don't even do Twitch stuff anymore. Thomas, I know you do a little bit, but it's
Yeah,
a
there.
weird
I'm
on Twitch.
learning.
YouTube for me is a lot easier.
Yeah, I'm definitely learning. So it'll be interesting. I think people are going to have to understand I won't be very good at dealing with the chat because I'll be very focused on the game.
Like, yeah, I know the feeling. Laser focus. Yeah,
I don't know how people do both. Like I've watched people play the game while talking to me and answering the chat, and I'm like, how is your brain functioning in this many ways?
I think the easiest thing to do is to have two screens.
Mm.
I don't like most
Okay.
streamers have two screens. Like, so I have like the chat blown up on one screen, and then the game on the
Ah,
other. I only have the one
okay.
screen to record this, so a bit crippling at the moment. It would be the same for Twitch. It'd be crippling as can be. If I had two screens with this setup, I'd be able to, pull stuff up and fact check myself. But
Okay.
you know,
Yeah. I'm in my baby steps. So I'll be linking it through my PlayStation and like the TV and stuff.
Mm.
I heard for the baby steps that'll be okay. So because all I have is a laptop. So I was like, okay, we'll start with that. And then if things go well, hopefully it can grow and I can do more.
Well, here hoping. Honestly,
Yeah.
hoping to see you do well on Twitch. That'll be a good bit of crack. Well, it's going to take a while, probably about a year to get all the games done. Like
Yeah.
it takes a lot of time.
I think it'll be longer than that with how I work.
Well, hopefully you get better as you go on. Here hoping for
That
you.
is true. But I
Yeah.
do a lot of like wandering in the same place because I even have a hard time making characters walk because it's like you can't just press forward because you go forward and they like start to veer and it's like no, I'm pressing up. Just go up. Just go this.
Yeah.
I think you need to go back to games like the original Doom, where it's just forward, back.
Exactly.
There was no turning.
Oh, I love Doom. I played that on like my parents' old school computer way back in the day. That was like grade school days. It was so fun.
You can play on a calculator now. Like, not too bad. I'm serious. Like calculators are powerful enough to have it on now.
Good Lord. Get
I've,
those TI 85s.
yeah. What was it, Thomas?
for, for anyone old enough who knows what I'm talking about.
There you go. I remember I was watching this guy and he got like a dollar store calculator. And he did some stuff with the electronics on it to try and make it faster. And he played like he played Doom on this thing. It was Doom 2 because apparently it ran better. But like that tells you like at the time it was the pinnacle of games, and then
that
you
it
know
was amazing. The graphics, I mean, the creatures, like everything about it was so epic.
it makes you
then,
wonder like. Oh, sorry, what were you saying?
No, it just to see how it progressed. Like we thought it was so amazing then, and even before that, I was like, on that black and green screen playing Oregon Trail. So you just it keeps moving, and now you can't even tell that these are animated characters. A lot of times they look so realistic. That's crazy. Like the first time I saw the character of Mia, I was like, oh, okay. And then people started posting like who the model was. So then I looked at that and I was like, oh shit. Like, yeah, that girl, like that woman is Mia. Like that's her face on there. Like, and that was one of the weirdest things for me doing the motion capture and facial capture. The first time I saw scenes of Seven, I was hearing my voice, my facial tics and my physical tics on another woman's face and body. Like
I'm checking it out now. That's literally the same person. What the fuck?
The trippiest experience to hear and see everything you do on somebody else's image. That threw me the first time I ever watched a scene from Resident Evil 7. I was like, that's me, but not me. This is weird. And then in 8, it's the same model they used. They just aged Mia and cleaned her up a bit. So it was just, again, my tics, my voice on another woman.
I still think you look a little bit like Mia. So
I do have some stuff, but I also, it helps. I was a redhead when I shot 7, so I didn't really look like her as much. And then I went dark a couple of years ago before I ever got 8. So when I got cast in 8, I was like, hey, now I even look like her a little bit more.
This kind of has me confused now because if you do the mocap, what did I do with this girl here now? It's Savannah Daniels was the model.
The model. So basically with the models, they do 3D scans. So they scan their face. Sometimes it's just face, sometimes it's face and body, but they scan the image and then they take that image and put it into the computer and then link that image with then my movements and then my face. So the way my cheekbones, my eyebrows, my lips, like any weird stuff that I do, that character now does. But it's that woman's face.
I almost had that done, like for me, on a Ridley Scott movie. I just went as an extra. Like, I got a bit of work there. It's this movie coming out called The Last Duel, and just an extra. I do archery, so I was booked into archery. So
very cool.
They had a bunch of stunts lads, but because I did the archery, I was still being paid an extra, but I got to do some of the stuff. So I got brought off with those lads, and I was the last guy at the door. It started raining, and they were like, "We can't have you in because your costume's soaked. I was gonna be like in the background, being like all these lads fighting or doing archery. There's be like a million different me's hidden in the
Yeah.
background, and I was taken away by rain. Irish weather,
Freaking Mother Nature.
it'll do things to you,
Fucking water.
dude.
Unbelievable.
I don't think I'll ever get that close to it again. So
It's like
you're
my
hoping,
least
That's why.
favorite element.
Well, that's why
yeah,
you always have to have a travel poncho on you at all times. And the moment a drop starts, you whip that thing out, you cover that costume in your hair. And then when you get
absolutely.
there, take it off. You're like, I'm dry as can be. So, yeah.
I've learned my lesson. Thank you.
Yes.
Oh,
Gotta
here
stay
hoping.
dry.
There you go.
For the next
Yeah,
time. For the next time.
for the next
Yeah.
time.
I've been 3D scanned, but never for a video game. Like for other stuff, like just online content, I've been 3D scanned, so I know what goes into it. But I've never been turned into like a video game. That would be really cool. I would love that.
Yeah, because it's one thing having your voice in something, and then it's another to have, you your likeness. And it's another
Mhm.
thing to have both. That must be pretty cool.
That's got to be amazing. Yeah.
Actually, can't really think of anyone who had both. Did Nicole Tompkins have both?
I don't
I
believe
suppose
so.
she kind of looked. No.
I
Not
think
in Resident Evil, but didn't Reggie
none of the
Watkins have them
Resident
for
Evil
Cold War?
Oh
ones.
yeah.
Yeah,
Reggie
but there
Watkins did.
have been other games. Usually, um, bigger actors, like really famous actors and stuff, who get brought in for games. A lot of times, like
Yeah.
they'll
Yeah.
be the voice, the face. They might do the motion capture. They might not. Like there are times where you have maybe 5 different people all coming together to create the one video game character. So there's a chance you could have a model, a voice actor, a motion capture, like body actor. Then you could have somebody else who does the facial capture, completely separate, and then a stunt who does maybe all the stunts that character does. So there's a chance that multiple people are all coming in for one character. Like that has happened in the past, and I couldn't even fathom it because I was lucky enough to get to do the majority for Mia. I wasn't the model, and any really big stunts, I don't know if they had stunt people in for it or if it was just done, in post. But like, when Mia's like at the top of a ladder and with a chainsaw jumping down to come after Ethan, like I think that was just done post. Like I didn't jump off a ladder with a chainsaw. So
Yeah.
I did do
Yeah.
some stuff. I did get to do some fighting stuff and chainsaw. Like I did get to actually use a chainsaw and chop his hand off, pseudo. But yeah, not the latter.
Yeah. Fair enough. Um, I had something there. It's kind of after blurt out my mind. But yeah, it's amazing how many people they can have for one character. I think
Yeah.
when the likes of Conor McGregor did that Call of Duty game back in the day, there was no way that
Okay.
they wouldn't make him do everything.
Right.
Like there's like
Yeah.
it's kind of weird, like you're saying that depending on how big the actor is, they'll like change how much he'll do.
hmm
Yeah, find that a bit weird. Yeah,
Yeah. It all varies on schedules, on injuries. Yeah, there's just so many different things. So like I'm starting to take stunt classes because I want to be able to do my own stunts within video games when I reach that point. So it's just kind of, I'm always adding onto my resume so that if and when I get the job, I can say, oh, I can do all of these things, and that way they don't have to bring in multiple different actors for it. So you always hope.
yeah. Do you get recognized as Mia often, or how does that
Not
go?
No, I mean, like you said, usually a lot of times it's well after, like even family and friends. I've had people hit me up after they completed the game and in the credits they saw my name. And then it clicked that I totally forgot. Like my own cousin called me up and had finished the game and was like, you scared the shit out of me. Like I forgot it was you. And then I saw your name and I was like, I literally just played this entire game not realizing it was my own cousin. So I have had people have that surprise of, wait, you're her? Like I'm a huge fan. And I'm just kind of like, yeah, that's me. So
Wow.
facially don't usually get recognized. A little bit more now because between COVID and RE Village coming out, doing a lot more online panels, podcast interviews, live signings. So more people are getting to see what I really look like. So
Yeah.
it'll be interesting as the world opens up if that makes a difference or not.
I mean, you're hoping.
It'd be
Yeah.
nice.
Yeah.
It'd be weird, but you know.
Yeah. It, but kind of know it, but like it is interesting if someone ever recognizes you for something. There is like a
Mhm.
feeling of proudness if they do it right. Um,
Yeah, like it's an
yeah.
honor. I mean, just the fact that people will chime in and watch the different interviews I do or the live streams. It's really cool that they want to do that they want to talk, ask questions, get to know me. Like I just think it's, it's an honor to be able to do it all. It's something I always thought would be really cool someday. Maybe I'll do something big enough where it'll be like that, but I never knew. And then when it happened, it was like, holy cow, this is amazing. Like you become a fangirl a little bit, but it's like a fangirl of the fans. Like, this is so cool. You guys are awesome too.
Yeah, that's so. Pardon me. That's so cool.
Wow.
I'm not having the day for it, to be honest. I'm just dying to dead over here.
It's so warm here. We were talking to oh my god, who we were talking to earlier? We were talking
Curzon
to
Double.
Curzon Dubel earlier on.
Ah,
He's living in New York, and he was saying it was like 40 degrees Celsius up
oh,
somewhere in the North America region, and it must be really fucking hot where you are right now because it's shit
uh,
hot here and it's around 10 degrees, which is
yeah.
roasting.
LA, the last time I was in Ireland, I had completely packed my bag wrong because I was used to Irish weather. And
Rain.
all of a sudden,
Rain
it
punches.
was like, yeah. But all of a sudden, I was like in sundresses and going into places where people were telling us, like, shit, we got to start getting air conditioners because it was so hot. Like, I had never been in Dublin sweating. Like,
It's a
it
rarity,
was
in fairness.
it was insane. And I had been going there for years, like to visit. And then all of a sudden, I think it was 2018, it was just like, what happened? So yeah, right now in LA, it's been hitting. I also live in the valley. So it's hotter than if I was living by the water. So it's been well up into the high 90s, 100. But north of me, my sister's in Oregon, and it was 105. Like, it was insane. It's been like, I think it was 115 in Death Valley yesterday. I was like, this is not normal. This is not normal. So yeah, it's insane.
Yeah, it's. I don't know. As Curzon said earlier,
It's
there's hot points in summers, and they seem to keep getting hotter. So
yes. Yeah.
yeah.
Our we have like fire season in LA or in California. There's fire
Why would
season.
you want to live there? There's
Well,
earthquakes. There's a fire season, a planned fire season.
but you're going to get something everywhere you live, whether it's fire, tornadoes, hurricanes, like
Have you ever
everywhere
lived in
has
Europe?
something.
Rain.
Well, yeah. Yes, Europe would be better.
It's
Like,
it's so
do,
crazy that you're like, yeah, it's fire season over here. It's like,
Well,
dude, if your neighbor has an old
you
bonfire, you're freaking out.
like I grew up with tornadoes. Those scare me more than fires do because I'm from a little town outside Chicago, so Illinois. Like I was used to hearing the tornado alarms going down to the basement, waiting until the coast was clear. Then I moved out here, and the earthquakes, knock on wood, I haven't experienced a bad earthquake yet. They've usually been pretty small, maybe one picture frame falls over, so they've been pretty mellow. So I don't know if there's ever a big one, how I would feel. I don't think I'd be too happy if it came to that. But fire season, I also don't live, like, I don't choose to live in the places that tend to get hit by the fires more. So when you're more in the city, there's less around you. Like, you'll see smoke. There have been a few years where it was so close that, like, there was ash on cars and you literally couldn't go outside unless you had a mask on just because of how much smoke was in the air. and then other times it's further away. So it's just, it's an experience, and you just hope that it doesn't get too bad. You hope that
Yeah.
people are okay. It's definitely been insane, and we haven't had much rain, so this one we're
Oh,
a
lucky
little
you.
worried this year. Yeah, a little worried this year with fire season. So it just
Yeah.
keeps getting earlier and earlier. That's the thing. It used to be like, oh, later in the year, and now it's nope. Any time and point, it might happen again. So
No, I know American insurance can be like dodgy, cutthroat, basically pirates. There's terrible shit.
Mhm.
Did they cover like the fire stuff at all where you are? Like if your house burns down
uh,
because these fires, is it like act of God?
it depends on what insurance you get. So if you get insurance, it might not cover, like you have to get specific earthquake insurance, fire insurance, water. Like it's the way they spread it out, you can't just get insurance. It's like you have to make sure to get all the right ones for the right things. And, I know people who have gone through it where they thought they had the right one, the damage happened, and it was like, oh no,
I
we can only give you this much, or it was an act of God, so we can't. So it varies.
That's such a dumb
Knock on
excuse.
wood. Oh yeah,
The act of God thing.
America. Yeah.
Like it just, I think they do it here as well, but it just amazes me the lengths they'll go to not have to pay you any money.
Oh yeah.
Like
Oh, capitalism.
companies as a whole. Like I remember that thing with the poor lady who got burned in McDonald's, and they ran this kind of like advertising BS on her, saying, "Oh, it was just a hot coffee. She spilled on herself. She wants money." I seen the picture of like the legs on her when she got burned,
Third degree burns.
and people
Like,
overuse that term, but like her legs were fucking scorched.
oh yeah. I remember being young when that happened, and it was like, it's coffee, of course it's hot. And then I think a couple years ago, like a documentary came out that talked about it and showed more, and I was like, they demonized her. Like absolutely demonized her. And after watching that, I was like, wow, yeah, like she
We
was
live
in
in
the
a
right.
society.
We live like, yeah, just demonized. So
Yeah.
whoo, yeah. And why do you think, like, my husband and I keep going, yeah, the Ireland move might happen sooner than later. COVID put a bit of a wrench in it.
In fairness, I have a lot of strong opinions on the Irish government. I feel like they're good lads until you dig deep. So
I think that's politics
I
Yeah.
think
as
that
a
is
whole.
it. Yeah.
Like, it's politics. Yeah. It is. I think, oh God, I was watching something and somebody said, how can you be a narcissist and become like president of the United States? And then somebody else asked the question, well, how can you not? Like, to be president, to be in politics, how can you not be somewhat of a narcissist? Because you're always having to be on. You're always having to justify, here's why we're doing this, whether the justification is bullshit or legit. Like it's like a
Yeah.
constant game. And that's why I'm like, I could never get into politics. It is just such a constant game.
I feel comfortable talking about American politics because I don't live there. If I did, I would be so quiet.
That's why it's just like, for me, it's just like the truth, the matter of fact, it's a shit show.
Like it's so
Period.
easy to be over here and be like, oh, Joe Schmeiden, he's a gob. Oh, Teddy Cruz, is it? He's gobby shite. And then over here, like having a fucking clue about politics is not. It's not as like. What would you say? Not glorified, not publicized as much. Like if the lads do something
Okay.
dodgy here, it was really scummy, and then no one cares a week later.
Uh,
But
yeah,
over there, like, oh, Joe
You guys are
Biden.
all about politics. I mean,
Joe,
if you saw a
Yeah.
lad over here with like Leo for president on their car, they'd be fucking made fun of.
Crazy.
But over there, it's patriotic.
Oh, yeah.
It's
Signs
crazy.
in the yard, stickers on cars, T-shirts. Like, I mean, I was all about Bernie Sanders. I had a T-shirt. I went to the
Fuck yeah.
rallies.
Bernie
yeah,
Like,
bros.
we're on the same page.
Yang gang for life. No.
Yeah. Anyway, we'll dodge that one.
I know.
Yeah.
I was like, edit, edit.
Yeah. The Awfully Irish podcast does not officially support Yang, and it's not part of a
Yeah.
gang. Yeah,
We are not a political podcast. We just go
yeah.
off the rails once
So
in a
now,
while.
if it was me, easy would have voted for that Kanye East lad. Lovely lad,
Oh my god.
Kanye East. Yeah,
terrific young man, and very
yeah.
funny. Have you seen some of the stuff he said? You
Yeah.
wouldn't believe it.
Is he related to the Wicked Witch, the one under the house? You know?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. There you go.
Yeah.
He's a weird character when it came to politics because he got super religious about it, and he wanted to do like, where you do concerts. What would you call that? Like arenas.
Oh, the rallies. Oh, the arenas. Yeah.
He
Yeah.
wanted to do mass in arenas, like religious services in arenas, like very 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 vocal ones. I was like, is everything okay, buddy? Like it's a one thing to like do an old rosary every now and then, go into a confession
Yeah.
booth and say I was a dodgy lad,
Yeah.
but to do that, it's a bit weird, you know?
Yeah, there are certain things over here, especially in the entertainment world, that you just kind of have to look at and go, okay, okay, cool. I'm gonna go over here now. Have fun with that. I don't know what else to tell you.
Honestly, that's why I love it so much in the States. I'd love to live there, but
I
that's
think
why.
people, you love to live there if you know you can leave.
Yeah. In
That's
fairness,
the key. Like, if you can come over here for a little bit, but you're like, okay, I at least have a home. I can go back to Ireland, and as messed up as things may be there, it's definitely going to be worse.
yeah. Well, I mean, that's the great thing about it being like a United States. You can go anywhere you want, wherever suits your beliefs or your needs. Like,
Yeah.
is 50 of them or 51?
50.
50
50,
technically,
and then
but
sure you
then
have
and then you have, Guam, Puerto Rico,
Yeah.
DC. So you have all these places that are territory. Yeah, it's again hot mess. They can't figure shit out.
having a clue. Ireland's much simpler.
Yes.
It's divided into
Yes.
two. So, I say the South is the best crack. It's the best fun.
There
So
you go.
there you go.
Designate.
That's my rec. Um,
Nice.
and Galway's the best part of it. So West is
There you
best.
go. I do love Galway.
It's
I
a
love
cool little
everywhere, but
spot.
I do enjoy Galway for sure.
Yeah. I'm looking to get out to a old comedy show over there soon. Like to go
Nice.
watch some of our buddies over there. So it should be good fun.
That's fun. That's a good
Yeah.
time. Yeah.
But with restrictions over here, like it's gonna take forever. I don't know.
It's
Did
just
Thomas tell you earlier the new thing they're doing?
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, which just doesn't make any sense.
Imagine being
The
20, working in a bar. You go in after hours. It's illegal for you to go in.
it just makes
I
no
forgot
sense.
my coat. Get out.
Yeah.
You can come
I-
back at 6 a.m. and 6 a.m. the next day and work, but you can't come back in.
It's just like, what do they think the difference is? You know,
Yeah.
it's silly.
They
to
don't
think that
think.
there's a
That's their
difference.
problem. They don't think. They say these silly little things so they'll get those silly little people to vote for them on their silly little elections.
Thomas just figured out the
Oh,
silly old bit of politics.
just a silly old bit. Yep.
There you go.
Politics.
I suppose to finish on an old Resident Evil
Back on
topic.
topic.
Yeah, I suppose to finish there. Did we even have a topic?
Yeah.
Okay, well, you can't say if you're in like the next game, but what was it? When it comes to like your future as an actor, actress, um, how's it looking for you? Are you making big waves, big plans? Are you doing a lot of training to try and get into bigger roles?
Yeah, I
What's next
mean,
for you as an actress?
it's kind of all in that same vein of, I have agents, they're submitting me, I'm auditioning. Everything kind of was put on a hold because of quarantine and COVID. And with that coming out, things are coming back. There's more things happening in person, but still a lot of it is like this, still a lot of auditioning on Zoom. And that's been interesting. It's taken some time to get used to. But for me, it's keeping sharp with that. It's updating, you know, all of my home studio because so much is now done there between voiceover auditions. There's even some commercials that like literally had people filming themselves at home and that's what they were using for the commercial. So whole different world. So I've been doing that. been doing trainings, like I said, with stunt motion capture creature work. I just want to build more because I love doing Resident Evil so much. I want to start doing more motion capture, more games, and I want to do more than just the voiceover part. I want to do that motion capture part. So I'm working on my stuff in my training to be able to do that. So yeah, it's just that matter of getting the auditions and then getting booked.
Yeah, it sounds easy in theory, doesn't it? And then the
Yeah,
practicality is something else.
that's the best part. Like when my parents, because I'm the only one in my family in this world, so like my dad will call me up, and I'm pretty sure every time we talk he asks me when I'm going to be on Star Trek and why I haven't been on any of the Star Treks, and here's the new Star Trek that's coming out and I should try to get on it. And he kind of gets it, but he also just is like, there's got to be a way, there's got to be a way. And I'm like, Dad, it's not how it works. I don't get to
I'd
like
say there is a way. It's probably right.
there is. I'm working on it, but working on it is meeting people, training, doing stuff. Like I do more special effects makeup, so I can have that on my resume that I'm really good in the chair for long hours getting prosthetics put on. So that's always a bonus because there are a lot of actors that aren't comfortable with that. So it's nice to say, oh yeah, I've been in full prosthetics, my entire, head
That's cool.
and parts of my body. So it's always nice to have those things. So that's just kind of where I'm at of building that reel, building the resumes and getting it out there of like, all right, let's do this. Let's open the world back up safely, safely, and
Yeah.
then get the work. That's what I want. Yeah.
When we got into this the whole entertainment thing, soon found out like fairly fucking fast. It's more so who you know. Well, would you agree with that?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
You definitely, there are auditions, there are ways to do it, and you can get, like, I have gotten booked on things from just my agent sending in my, headshot and resume, and then I was able to book it. But there's so many other facets that I got that job, or I got in this way, or I got the audition because of knowing someone, like through training, through working with other stuff. Like a lot of these other actors, we all, keep in touch. Some of us are like friends. And when a project comes up, we'll be like, oh, hey, I have somebody, I want to send you their headshot and resume. And it's one of my friends. So I can send it, and then they might call them in for the audition. So there's a lot of who you know for sure. But it's not all. So there is hope.
There you go. Like, I suppose it's unfortunate if you're new, but it's like any industry. Like you got to work to get your name in there
Yeah.
anywhere.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like
It's
no one's
very
gonna hand you a
rare.
book of everyone's names and
Exactly.
here's who you need to talk to. Like it's you'll find it your own way, but it is
And you
one
just
weird
have
bit
to
of.
do the work.
Hmm.
You just have to do the work. You just have to do the groundwork. You can't move out here and then sit on your ass and be like, all right, somebody noticed me because they read in some article that Natalie Portman was discovered at, a pizza parlor or like whatever. Like there are people that were extremely lucky and they were discovered somewhere, but then they also had to put in the work to stay at the level where they're at and to stay working. And and that happens when the talent is there and they want to keep teaching themselves. So it'd be great to like be walking down the beach one day and somebody to be like, I want you in my movie. It's not gonna happen. Exactly. Like you got to put the work in, you got to train, you got to like know your shit so that when you get that opportunity, when you're in front of a director, a casting director, you're on it. You don't screw up that one opportunity that you might get and regret. So it's just like you just always stay on top of everything. So the moment it comes, you're like, all right, here we go. Let's do this. And you're not nervous or freaking out.
Yeah, yeah. Oh God, experience is a wonderful gift.
I
There you
love
go.
it. Gotta love
So,
it.
if people want to experience more of you and your Twitch, where can they find you?
So you can find me at KDOX on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. And then my Twitch is twitch.tv/KDOX. And then I also am doing a live signing on my Twitch this Saturday at 11 a.m. Pacific time. So what would that be? 7 for you guys? 7 p.m.
If you could send me a link for that, I'll put it in the description.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. So that'll be on my Twitch, but then it's a live signing. So if you go to streamily.com/Katie O'Hagan, I have prints and pins and all those fun things for sale, and I sign them and whatever you guys want me to write on them, I do all that, and I answer questions for however long I'm on. Anywhere from, in the beginning, I used to do 1 hour because not that many people got prints. So I was like, all right, we're done. Now it's like 5 hours. I'm like, holy crap.
You'll be working anyway.
So, but it's fun because it's a lot of just interacting with the fans and answering questions.
Oh, that's amazing.
At least the questions I can answer. There's a lot of questions I
Just,
can't because
are you in Res 9? Someone's going to
That's
spam
the
that
thing.
for the entire thing.
and I think people honestly just don't believe when we say no or I don't know. It's like, guys,
Well, you're an actor.
I like
These are paid to lie.
It's true. It is
Oh.
true. But I wish I was hiding
Big if true,
something.
man.
I wish. I have no idea. And I probably
Yeah.
won't know for like another 2 years
Yeah,
if anything
okay.
happens.
You keep acting like you don't know, okay? Sure. Okay.
I believe you.
Yeah. Yeah. You believe her. Not the rest of us. Not us free
No.
thinkers.
Get
That's
out
what
of here.
Ethan-
Get out of
That's
here.
what Ethan has to say.
There you go. Funny, I reckon we should probably contact Todd because I feel like he's getting the short end of the stick. 'Cause everyone's like Lady D, Heisenberg, Mia, the daughters. Let's go
Yep.
talk to those people, and then like he's just like, yeah, don't mind me, the player. Yeah, you think from my perspective, yeah.
Yeah. I think you
Yeah,
can
we'll
always try. You
We'll
can
give him an old
always
shout
try
later
it.
on.
There you go. Hi,
But there you go.
Todd.
So if people
Todd.
want to check you out, they know where to find you. So
Yep.
to anyone who got this far in the audio or visual version, fair play to you. Fair fucks to you even. So
Thanks,
take
guys.
it handy. Good luck. Bye bye, and stay away from yourself.